good things, Delmarva.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, my guest this morning is Mitzi Perdue, and we are talking about her memoir, Tough Man, Tender Chicken, Business and Life Lessons from Frank Perdue. And it's so, I don't even know the word, it's amazingly interesting to just see and to hear how people learned from him with just, life lessons, and how he inquired about people, and they even learned from that. And we were talking when we went to break about people who would enjoy this book, and you said that there's even a third category. Talk to us about who that is.
Yeah, there's the business people who might enjoy it.
Right.
There's people who just might want to know what Frank Perdue was like. But there is a third group that I've discovered over the years. I've been, I'm not an expert in the chicken industry, but I have been closely associated with it for 25 years. So I know some things. Plus, I interviewed 134 different people who've told me lots and lots. So there's a certain number of people who just are curious how the chicken industry works. And there's a lot of stories on that. Allow me to tell you one.
Please.
Fairly often, people used to come to Frank, or sometimes even to me, saying, I've got the best recipe. I want to sell it to Perdue and make a fortune out of it. But the sad truth on that is the odds of somebody's personal recipe, even if it's one that they use for their church or club, the chances of its being commercially successful are almost zero.
Wow.
And people wouldn't realize this unless they read my book. But the reason that it probably won't is because if you're making a recipe for your friends, there's a whole lot of constraints that you don't have if you're making a recipe that will be eaten by millions of people. And as an example is sourcing the food, food safety, something that will hold up its wonderful taste even if it's being produced on an industrial scale. And the typical recipe that we would use that would get through the home economists, and it takes between 6 months and 3 years.
Wow. Does it take that long, really?
Yeah, because there's so many constraints. Because on top of all the other things like food safety and can it be made, then there's constraints such as, is the market going to want it?
There is that, yes. And you talk a little bit about all of that in the book in terms of interviewing some of the people that you did.
Or some I even know from personal experience, because one of my favorite recipes that they ever did, it got as far as, this was developed by the home economist, but it was the most delicious chicken pot pie you have ever set tooth to. It was just, great big luscious chunks of chicken, fabulous sauce. It was, I couldn't wait.
Did it make it?
Well, it didn't, because even though the taste testers thought it was wonderful, you could produce it, and it was still, you weren't going to break the bank in the ingredients and so forth. It didn't make it in the marketplace because, actually it didn't even get to the marketplace, because if you're selling chicken pot pies to supermarkets, they want a whole line of pot pies, or then it's not worth their while to carry it. Gotcha. So there are all these constraints that people just wouldn't guess.
And that we would never even think about. And now I'll probably notice that the next time I'm at the groceries and looking at there's that line of pot pies she was talking about.
Except that it wasn't.
It wasn't. So tell me this, a little bit on the personal. We have some photos, if we can pull a couple of those up, because there's a whole legacy and life here of a man and his father and a business starting, and there are a couple of photos where you and he are just smiling. A holiday turkey here, a holiday, I imagine.
Yeah, he was very big on holidays. He loved them. He looked forward to them.
And you just seem enamored with the man. Just really in love. Does that speak to your life with Frank Perdue?
Yeah, I really feel I'm still kind of in love with him, because he was a good man, and I admired him all the time. But on top of that, maybe you can see in that photograph, we're both laughing. I felt I always walked around with a smile on my face, because he was going to say something funny or hilarious or so off the wall that I'd be falling on the floor clutching my sides with laughter.
Was he that kind of guy?
Yeah. He was...
It's a chick there.
That's a chick. In fact, that was his nickname when he was a child, Chick Purdue.
Really?
Yeah.
The writing was on the wall. But then,
Yeah.
I mean, it was already, the family business had already started.
It,
so
it already was the family business.
Yeah, that was pretty much a given. He was a funny guy, huh?
I'll give you an example of just how off the wall he could be. I mean, he was known for having kind of a wry, wacky sense of humor. And a favorite example I have of that is, we're in Boston, and we'd had a late night. We'd been entertaining customers, and it's a Sunday morning, and he got by in like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I'm not like that. But somewhere early in a Sunday morning, I'm groggy, I'm waking up, and he tells me, so kind of catching me off balance on this, but he said, Mitzi, today is the Lord's Day, okay? Because it's the Lord's Day, it's okay for you to steal the soaps, the shampoos, the bath scrub, but I don't want you to steal the curtains. You cannot steal the curtains.
There was a limit. It's the Lord's Day, Mitzi. There is a limit.
But who in the world would think to tell you not to steal the curtains?
He seemed like a fun, and you just still radiate when you speak of him, so I can only imagine what that relationship was like. I do want to talk to you more personally. We're going to take a break. We are still talking about Tough Man, Tender Chicken, and just the life that you've lived with Frank Perdue. So stay with us. It's a treat to have you here, and I know the viewers feel the same way. We'll be right back, still talking with Mitzi Perdue. Don't go away.